guys, welcome back to another video. I have with me today Lewis, who went 7-2 with Bonney at the Oviedo Regional in Florida this past weekend. Hi Lewis, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So we're gonna have Lewis just like take us through his deck list, talk about some of the card choices. I'll be asking him some questions, and then we'll go over his matchups and how the tournament went as well.
Yeah, sounds good with me.
All right, so yeah, whenever you're ready, you can just like go ahead and get into the deck list.
All right. So I chose to go with 3 and 3 searchers. I just felt like it would be more consistent than just having 4 searchers in like a more supernova deck than Bonney used to be. So I have 3 Bonney searchers and then 3 Kid and Killer searchers. Kid and Killer is just really good to use with Dofi and with the new Law Beppo if you don't have like an Rouge or Cavendish or anything to stand some Dawn up after you're playing them. And then I chose to go with more chump blockers than people usually go. So I have 4 Rosinantes, good against KO decks. I have 2 Killers, good for drawing cards, another little chump blocker. And then I have 2 of these new Capones, really good to just filter cards out because Bonney just runs a couple of bricks and good to get rid of those.
Can I ask you, sorry, real quick, can I ask you, so I like the decisions you went here with like the 3-3 searchers and then the 2-2. Like Rosie's kind of the goated chump blocker, especially if you're running kids, so you got to run 4, right? What made you go with the 2 beige, 2 killers?
So before in Bonney, I've been running the killers. I kind of always like to run them, even when people were running Barto.
Yeah.
I just like to have the extra draw. It's really easy to get an extra Dawn to attach it to get that extra draw. And before I used to use the 1 cost beige, the just literal actual blocker, nothing else, no counter. But having that in this deck is just another brick. And I saw that the starter deck had this one, and I think it's a pretty good card. And sometimes you can't get that extra Dawn with the killer, so it's good to just kind of filter your hand out instead of just having to actually draw an extra card.
Yeah, I really like that beige. And one thing I noticed too is like sometimes you want to throw down a chump blocker early, and if you throw down the beige early, you're more than likely not going to get the 6 rested cards to get the draw. So just having that killer and knowing that like later on you can get the draw with it behind a kid or something is still really strong. So I like those ratios. I thought that was a nice decision you made.
Yeah, the extra chump blockers do help out in some matchups just for surviving or to just protect kid.
Yeah. Okay, cool, thanks.
And so I'll keep going.
Yeah.
And then I have the 3 Rouge, or Rouge, however you say it.
Gotta get the SP on the top.
This card is, yeah, I had to. This card is just good in like almost every single matchup. I'm basically trying to play it every single time if I'm going on my even Dawn turns. It's just good against literally every single matchup, and I'm glad that I could put this back in the deck because when Dofi was around, it was just getting bounced out, and that card basically was just a counter.
Yeah.
So for 2Ks, I have Tashigi. Tashigi's just a goated card. You have to play that card, really.
Yep.
I was just trying to get it down every single 3 Dawn turn against my blue-purple matchups, especially, just so my Cavendishes or Carrots or anything else doesn't get put back into life by Big Mom. Or even Red Rocks, like on my Kid and Gravity Blades and stuff like that. This card really helped a lot.
Yep.
And then this is another little choice right here. I actually started using this because of you. This Ezo's really, really good. It helped a lot in the UP matchup just to rest their like Zorojuro or Bonclay and just get rid of it.
It's good,
I
right?
did it almost. It's so good.
Yeah.
I did it almost like every single time they had played that Zorojuro, and it just set him back a turn and let me like progress my board. It's just such a good card.
Yeah, it's
I wish
awesome.
it was searchable.
I know that the one problem is it takes away from your supernova targets and it's unsearchable. But It's if you see it early against blue purple and you can throw them off their ramp curve, it literally can just win you the game on turn 2, which is insane. So yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then my next 2K is gonna be 4 of the new Basil Hawkins. Set up a Dawn end of turn. If I don't see the Rouge, it's good to just play this down on 4 because that extra Dawn at the end of the turn is going to help you later in the game, or middle of the game and end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's a 2K also, so that's just really good. And then here's for the mid game. I have 4 carrots, kind of standard.
Yeah.
Good against most matchups. Kind of a dead card against UP unless they play like Nami and you can keep it rested, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's the only matchup that I'm never happy to see Carrot in, which is unfortunate, but hey, every other matchup she can be an extremely strong card, so I think it's worth running 4.
Yeah, one of the matchups that I lost, I think it was round 3, I saw like all 4 of them while I was getting high rolled, and I'm like, all right, you can have this one.
Yeah.
The next is 4 Cavendish. You just need that card.
Yeah.
Have to get it down on 5. It's searchable. So with 6 searchers, it's not hard to find this card. I think I found it pretty much every single game.
Nice.
And next 4 Hodies. Goated card, like probably the best green card that we have. Good for finishing against the UP. Good against any deck with blockers and you're trying to finish, really. I use it against, I think, every single game against the UPs that I played. The Buggy to finish the game. Shanks to close out the game also. And having 4, I think you need to play 4. Less than that. I used to play 3 last set just because I hated seeing it so often against, like, just dead decks that you don't want to take your life and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I think this format you just need to see 4 or need to play 4 and see at least like 1 or 2 to close out games.
I agree. There's a lot of matchups where like sometimes you're like I want to see 2 Hodies. Like there are plenty of games where you want to see 2. So I think you just gotta run 4 in this meta right now.
Yeah, playing it like on 7 is really strong, and then playing it to close out the game is it's the best when you see like 2.
Yeah.
And next I have 3 kids. Sometimes I want to like take this card down to 2 just because sometimes I see it too often, and seeing like 2 or 3 in a game even is like really disheartening when you have this as a brick and like you just have like awkward turns to play it.
Yeah.
And it's searchable, so with the 6 searchers, I think I pretty much found it every game. Sometimes I find it a bit late and it was like scary, but I would find it every time. I think 3 is like a good number to have it at. It's not too little and not too much, but it's good in every single matchup basically.
Yeah, I could see if you're running 6 to 8 searchers, I could see being tempted to put it down to 2. If you're running only 4 searchers, I think you probably really need to run it at 3 just for like aggro and the green purple Luffy matchup, and honestly against black purple Luffy it's good too. There's a lot of matchups it's still really really good against, but I would be interested to see how it feels putting it down to 2 if you're running 6 to 8 searchers and then like seeing it. But like the safest number is always going to be 3 in my mind. But yeah, it really kids suck so bad to draw like 2 of in almost any matchup. Like even just 2 is like, oh, this is a feels bad man moment. But when you don't see him when you need him, it feels even worse. So it's really hard to like justify cutting him any lower. But I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, sometimes I want to like either put him down to 2 or bump up my 0 cost event. Just because sometimes seeing like 2 of him or 2 of like my top end, my other top end is it's terrible.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens, I'm like, yeah, I'm putting it down to 2 next locals. And then I don't, and then I see it again. The problem, yeah.
I like the putting the 0 cost up at a higher amount is a good like solution for that too, because then it's not ever like really a super dead card in hand. So that's another, if people are having similar struggles, maybe try that before you cut the kid down, is just add more 0 costs if you can. It's a good solution.
I could always take out like just 1 chump blocker and put a 0 cost in it. I've tried playing at 3 and it felt good seeing it like almost every game, and then almost every game you do have some sort of dead card in your
Mm-hmm.
hand, so it's good to just pitch it and get rid of
Yeah,
it.
zero cost works great in Bonney for that reason in particular too.
Yeah. So next for the top end, I was
Mm-hmm.
playing 2 La Beppo.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be like a major hater of this card when they first announced it.
Mm-hmm.
My friends who will probably watch this video later will know that I hate it. Um, I-
I'm
but
guilty
after
too, bro. I'm
playing,
guilty too. Don't worry. I think
yeah,
all Bonney players are guilty of that. Most of us.
yeah. But after the regional and playing like all the UPs and the Shanks, especially in the matchup,
Mm-hmm.
and the Buggy, it pretty much helped in all of those matchups, even though sometimes it's very awkward to play either if you don't have like an Aruj or Cavendish to restand it on, or if the opponent has like 3 or 4 already like big characters that you're playing against UP and they've got a board on you and you just play this and rest one and you're kind of not really doing anything. That's when it's really awkward to play, but
Mm-hmm.
I would try to get this card down as early as possible, and
Yeah.
that's what really helped me out. If you played it into the UP, I'd like after they play their first like Sanji into whatever, I'm trying to get it down immediately after if I have it in my hand.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I've noticed similarly too, like Law and Beppo works great if you maintain the momentum from your mid game into like immediately playing him, like you said. Like that
Yeah,
feels awesome.
exactly.
Because Law and Beppo, I mean, even Shanks is similar, where like if your opponent just has too much of a wide board, sometimes even Shanks isn't enough. Where even if you KO one character, they're still gonna have 5 swings coming at you in the next turn, and it's like, well, there's just nothing
yeah.
I can do. So as I try and keep that in my mind as like comparing it kind of similarly to that, but the value you get if you can properly set it up, especially if you have, you know, your Aruj or a Cavendish, if you can restand your Dawn after playing him and get the 7k leader buff, like man, it just feels so good because Law and Beppo is just gonna stick on the board for the rest of the game if you get it down early, right? Like there's almost nothing that's gonna remove it. So yeah, I totally agree. And can I ask you for Law and Beppo specifically, like you were saying, what particular matchups did you find that you found a good spot to play it in during your regional?
Well, yeah, in the regionals, I mostly played UP, and it
Mm-hmm.
like it helped out in probably around like 3 or 4 trying to get them down early.
Mm.
The other like rest of the matchups, it was just too awkward, or they would just have a like too much of a wide board set up on me where
Mm.
if I played it, I would just be going back instead of forward, or at
Mm-hmm.
least like matching them in tempo.
Yeah.
So that's when it gets really awkward when you're just trying to play it down. They have like 3 or 4 characters, and I'm freezing one, and it's like a big one where a Katakuri, and at the end of the turn, it gets restood anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing that was like really annoying to play against. In my round 4, I believe, against Chris Sock, he played Katakuri on his 8 Dawn, and then his next turn he played, I think, like a Sanji into another Katakuri. And that was like the most annoying board because after that he played a 9 Mom, and his whole board was restanding end of turn. I got rid of the Sanji because I could keep it rested and then kill it, and the Katakuris were just blocking, swinging, and I could do nothing about it.
Yeah, that is definitely something to like you gotta. I mean, I think that's less of a Law and Beppo problem and more of like Akos Katakuri is broken problem.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, so you have it at 2. I know we were talking on stream when we were talking about your list. You were thinking about adjusting the ratios. How do you feel about running it at 2 right now?
I ran it at 2 during the regional, and I felt like it was too little. So I would bump it up to probably 3. Just because it's searchable and it's like it's your best top end if you can play it like when it's not awkward.
Yeah.
It being searchable is the best part of it though, because you have 6 searches, and if you need to find that card, you can find it. But running it at 2 sometimes, I would be in a game or in a situation where I needed some big body to play, and I would search and then not find it.
Yeah.
And I think if I ran it at 3, I would run into that problem less.
Yeah, I've been switching between 2 and 3, and I actually think I agree. I think I like it at 3 a little bit better, and a lot of because of like what you were saying, like You need him on time. You need Law and Beppo on time in order to play it
Yeah.
in a strong position. And when you only run two, sometimes like it's nice because it doesn't end up like breaking your hand as much, obviously, because you're only running two. But it's just so much easier to find one when you're running it at three, and then you more often than not, then you're able to play it on that one really strong turn that you can play it. So yeah, I think 2 or 3 seems like a good number right now. 4 seems a little too much. I'm not sure if you need to run it at 4, at least not for this current meta. But yeah, that's a nice point to make.
Yeah. This meta, I think 4 is way too much.
Yeah.
With all the blue purples running around and stuff.
Okay, and moving on.
And then so lastly, I have the 3 Dofis. I changed my Shanks to the Dofis like almost last minute, like the day or two before the regionals, just because mostly the blue purple matchup with all their restanding and stuff, it was really awkward to try and get a Shanks off against them. And if I did, it was against like a Sanji, and then next turn they just play like a Sanji into Katakuri. And then restanding, big bombs, restanding, and all that stuff. So it was just really weird. So the only other matchup that I feel like I would prefer the Shanks instead of the Dofis, probably something like against another Shanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Against the Shanks I played in round 7, I wish I had that because he played like a Rayleigh against me, and then he played the KO Shanks, the Rush Shanks, and another KO Shanks.
Oh my god.
And the only reason I survived that game was because of this card and because of my chump blockers.
Nice.
I was able to freeze his board, I think twice, and then before that he was swinging at me, and I had a bunch of the chump blockers against him in one turn where I couldn't do anything else but play like 3 of them, and they just literally helped me keep me alive. This game, it stalled the game and let me get big swings on him that he couldn't counter, and basically won me the game.
Nice. Yeah, I'm also right now in my own OP11 list, I'm also running Dofi over Shanks. I don't think Shanks is bad, but like you're saying, like there's just not as many matchups where I fully really just want Shanks over Dofi. Especially with like black purple Luffy on the rise. I think Dofi's a little bit stronger in that matchup as well. Just aggro in general. If blue purple Luffy isn't able to properly set up with their katas and 9-moms, like Dofi can be an extremely strong card. So if you have it at the right time, it's still at least usable in blue purple. Shanks is probably still a little bit better for that matchup just because he's an 11k beater. And if you get the KO on like a Rush Luffy or a Sanji, it's still really impactful. But yeah, I agree overall. And like running him at 3, it's okay because then you're like, okay, well, I won't see too many, but most games I feel in OP11, like I just need to see 1, sometimes 2 Dofis, so I feel fine running him at 3.
Time,
yeah, did you feel that way too? Where the 3 ratio feel okay?
The 3 felt okay. There was like a couple games where I saw him too much, and he was just like a dead card.
Yeah.
Against the blue purples, like where they have that board of the cat and 9-mom, and they're just restanding and I can't freeze anything. That's when it felt like it was too much.
Yeah.
But against most other decks, like the blue purple, the green purple, even against like Lucci and Shanks and stuff like the Buggy, it's really strong too. It's good against all those decks, whereas like the 9 Shanks, I don't really think it's that strong right now because like Buggy will bring out a whole board against you. You get to KO 1 and that's it.
Yeah, or they have the Crocodile Mihawk that has the protection as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and my last match, my opponent played that as fast as he could, and I was like, if I had Shanks, I wouldn't be able to do anything. But
right.
I had this card, and it froze his whole board. I had a carrot, froze the other character, and it was pretty easy matchup.
Yeah, and it's so much easier to get the Dawn up now with the starter deck cards, so I think it's so much more easy to justify running Dofi again right now. Just like with the Kid and Killer, the Hawkins, like just having a Cavendish on the board sometimes, it just feels so much more doable.
Yeah, there was a couple of times where I couldn't find the Uruj, and just having this card as like a 2k and the end of turn restand is really strong. And before the starters came out, I was like, yeah, the X-Drake is is the best 2K in the deck, but I'm not even playing it. I'm playing this over it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that because I think Drake is strong. I do, but I think like if you're running the 10 costs, I like the Hawkins better, just personally.
100%. Yeah, the
Yeah.
10 cost and the law Beppo for sure.
Okay, let's finish out the last cards there.
Yeah. Last two are the 0 costs. Too many bricks to not run them, so
Yeah.
I think 2 is fine because this deck doesn't really have that many bricks.
Yeah. I think we counted
5,
it on stream.
8, and then yeah, 11.
11, yeah, that's really good. That's if you can get 11 down to 11 bricks in Bonney and still feel like you can see enough top end, like that's the best feeling in the world as a Bonney player, because you're just like, I'm almost guaranteed not to have those like crappy Bonney bricks, you know, like happens a lot. But yeah, that was another thing that I thought was really good about like your ratios and stuff, is you're keeping the counter list as low as possible, and you still have the 2-0 costs. So you know, if you do draw 2 Dofis when you don't need them, hopefully you have a 0 cost that you can use to ditch one of them and get the 3k counter.
Yeah, I wanted to make this deck list like as many like supernova as possible. So I tried to keep down like the number of Ezos just to 3 and the Dofis to 3, and the Hody's necessary. You need that at 4, I think.
Yes.
But I just wanted to keep that searchable just so I could pitch cards if I needed to.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Is there any, before we move on from the deck list, any like small changes or things you want to try from here? Maybe new top end or anything else you want to try?
I wanted to put this to 3, like we were talking about, and then change the Dofi to 2.
Okay, so maybe swap
I tried it at a local. Yeah, I tried it at a local yesterday, and I saw too many of the Law Beppos and not enough of the Dofis. So I don't know. There's still a little bit of testing to be done there, but I think everything else. Is fine.
Yeah, it looks good. I like it a lot. I know there's a few cards, like I've been experimenting with 7 cost Bonney recently. Have you tried like Smoker or 5 cost Smoker, 7 cost Bonney, 5 cost Bonney? Have you tried any of those kind of tech cards yet?
Not in this exact list. I used to play the Smokers at 2. Just because it's not searchable and it's a brick, and like honestly, I think playing like a Carrier Cavendish that turn is better than Smoker. There are some situations where the Smoker is better,
right?
But I feel like it being a brick and all that and adding to the number of bricks does worse than helping me out.
Yeah,
so I just cut it out completely.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I have the same problem where I love Smoker. It's such a strong card in Bonney, but like when I try and rationalize it sometimes I just can't, and so then I end up not running it, and more often than not I'm fine with not running it, especially now that we have more Dawn Restanders that are actually supernova. So yeah.
Yeah, I felt like when we did play it, it was kind of like an emergency play if I didn't have Cavendish, because I think I would rather play Cavendish on that turn than the Smoker.
Yeah.
So I just took it out, and I did try using the 7 cost Bonney. I like that card personally, but most of the time on 7, I found myself playing the Hody over it, and so it was just like a 1k counter in my hand most of the time. But I haven't like fully tried experimenting with like more than one. It was kind of just a one of like, oh, here I have it, let me use it now.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I think you're kind of you're opting for the more chump blockers over like a potential like 1k counter tech option, which I think is totally fine. Especially like 7 to 8 chump blockers I think is a really good position for OP11 right now. So yeah, but there's still there's a few flex spots, you know, like you're saying, you're testing the ratios and stuff. So we'll definitely be interested in seeing like how like the tweaks go, what kind of things you change. So we'll be looking forward to seeing the further testing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'd cut down like chump blockers and stuff like that to just throw random stuff in there, like the 7 cost Bonney, just to try it out. But
yeah, and if anyone else wants to like take this list and to know like what would you say, 1 or potentially 2 chump blockers? Like I think you gotta have at least 6 is good in my opinion for a good kid plan. Yeah, I really don't like going below 7, but
Yeah, I like having like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I found myself playing against the blue purples a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to protect the kid with counter in your hand only.
Yeah.
So I found myself playing like multiple blockers per turn just to
Mm-hmm.
protect kid and extend the game so I can keep chipping at them, getting cards out of their hand so I can
Mm-hmm.
finally go for lethal.
Yeah, one cost Beige is so nice for that too. That's a lot of us played that in
I
OP11.
love that card.
Yeah,
I
it's
love that card. I used to have it in my list, and having like one extra Dawn to play and just put it out, and your opponent's like, "What? Like what? Like, let me read that card."
yeah, it's so nice. Okay, all right. I don't want to take up too much time, so let's quickly move on and let's talk about the run at Oviedo. So and you sent me your matchup list and we looked at it on stream too. I remember everyone like we were just like, oh my god. So I'll quickly run through it real quick. So round one, blue purple Luffy. You got a win. You got the dub. Round two, blue purple Luffy. You got the dub. Round three, another blue purple Luffy. Unfortunately, you took an L there. Round four, blue purple Luffy. So you've now hit 4 blue purple Luffys in a row, and this one was Chris Hawk, who's a really really good player, and you took the L there. And then round 5, Blackbeard got the dub. Shout out, taking down a Blackbeard with Bonney. We love to see it. Round 6, another blue purple Luffy. So this is your 5th blue purple Luffy in 6 rounds.
Yep.
Round 7, you hit a Shanks, which is not very popular in OP11 right now. So that must have felt terrible sitting down and seeing a Shanks. Round 8, another blue. Oh, and sorry, the Blackbeard, round 6 blue purple Luffy and Shanks all dubs. Round 8, another dub on a blue purple Luffy, and your last match, round 9, Buggy taking the dub there. Holy crap, dude! What kind of like bad voodoo doll did you like mess with the day before to get this like matchup luck?
Yeah, I'm known amongst my friends to have terrible luck with anything, with pack opening, just literally anything in general.
Yeah.
And I really didn't prepare a lot for the blue purple matchup, but I knew how to play against it.
Yeah.
I had really only played like practicing against my friend a couple of times, and then one time in a local before that. And the Ezo was really good.
Yeah.
Killing their Zorojo before they could ramp. Even killing like a Bonclade before it just like stuck on the field or anything like that. I would say that's what helped me out early. And then as soon as I I tried to get out of Hody early. That's really strong against them. Just to keep the aggression on them, to keep swinging 8 at them no matter what. Basically tried to get Rouge Cavendish just to set up, just to have extra Dawn so I can try and get one of these guys down so I can still rest one of their other big swingers. And then once I was down to like 1 or 0 life, I'd try to get kicked down with as many cards in my hand to protect it, and then just keep throwing Chump Blocker, swinging 6 with Cavendish, 6 with Care, 8 with Hody, and then hopefully something with these guys.
Yeah, it's
but just playing really aggressive is what won me like most of those games.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. That's what I was gonna ask. Is like, so key cards against the blue purple Luffy matchups for you, at least for this regional. We're talking Ezo. You said you like to get Tashigi down early if possible, right? To protect from those God Thread KOs.
Oh yeah, forgot about the Tashigi. Try to get that on curve if I didn't have the Ezo. Just to protect myself against the God Threads or the 9 moms is what's really annoying if they 9 mom like your Cavendish or something.
Yeah. So, and then I think this is a big thing, and maybe some Bonney players are hesitant to do this, but yeah, playing the early Hody is totally fine against blue purple. In fact, it's like kind of necessary to get the proper aggression and pressure that you need to actually close out the game later on. So don't be afraid to, especially if your Cavendish sticks on the field, like playing a Hody after on 7 and just swinging in with all like Hody, Cavendish, and your leader is insane. Like that's such a good play for you as a Bonney player. So definitely think would like to encourage people to try and play the matchup as like aggressive as possible. And like I think you had 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue purples. You beat 4 out of 6. And you said the Chris Sock one was very close, right?
Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah.
Had him down to 0 life, and then the next turn I tried to go for game with Hody because I wouldn't have survived,
Right.
and he had the counter for
Yeah.
it.
That's still, man. 4 out of 6 is really, really good, especially and we were talking how you said you had a pretty unfortunate round 3 and kind of got high rolled to oblivion. So don't even worry about that one. That happens.
That round 3, the guy he pulled a god thread on me to kill my Cavendish. And I still had some like aggressive plays with like another Hody and a carrot still, and I was able to get down, I think, a Law Beppo and like a kid, and then he just saw 4 Gum Gum Giants, 3 Gear 2s, 2 Thunder Bagwas, and every single 2K, and I just literally could not kill him.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, dude, at the end of the game, because like I'm going for game with a Hody, and he still has counter in his hand.
Yeah, I've been there, man. I've been there. Sometimes it sucks so bad. Gum Gum Giant's such a broken card because sometimes they just keep drawing every card they need from the Gum Gum Giant, and that just like feels so bad. But I mean, you went through the gauntlet here. How was the Blackbeard match?
Blackbeard match, it was weird. The guy didn't play any of like he had them in his deck, he just didn't play them down. Basically another matchup where I just had to play aggressive and hope that I drew Hody.
Right.
Hody's like probably the only card in that matchup you want to see, really. If you see too many bricks, you probably lost already.
Yeah.
But Hody, if he uses his leader ability, it's a free rush basically at him. You don't have to take a life. Tashigi's good if he's like removing stuff from the board. And then basically try to spread out the board as much as possible to get swings in. So there was like a turn where I could have played a Hody, but I decided to just drop Cavendish and Carrot, even though I couldn't get their effects, just to spread my board out so that the turn after I can swing more with the Hody in my hand after, just to get more swings in at his life.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely have to early mid game. You have to be careful of liberation. But like late game, when you know they're just going to spam another 10 cost teach, that's when it hurts them the most. If you can really go wide and then back it up with something like a Hody the next turn, get like 3 to 4 swings in when they really can't handle that kind of pressure, it can be really, really strong.
Yeah, he was using his leader effect pretty much every turn, so I couldn't really do much, but I was just trying to spread my board. I think I played like even these and like in a Rouge just to like have the possibility of having more characters on board because he was removing some stuff. And
yeah, I think the Hawkins,
chump blockers helped a lot too.
Yeah, chump blockers. That Hawkins seems like he's pretty decent against Blackbeard. Just get a body down if you don't have like an Rouge or a Cavendish or Carrot to play.
Yeah, he's kind of like bait also. Like go ahead and remove that.
Yeah, that's true. He becomes like a pseudo blocker kind of.
Yeah.
All right, nice. So we've talked essentially about all the blue purple Luffy matchups basically, and then we talked a little bit about the Shanks already. Anything about your last round 9 for the buggy?
Buggy, I won the dice roll. I think I had won like only 2 dice rolls before that. I didn't have a lot of practice against it. I had heard that he was like just running through everything. And then I played a friend of mine before the regional had started. He was on Buggy. So I got a little bit of practice in like literally right before we started.
Nice.
And I think the key cards for that matchup, Dofi for sure. Cavendish Care obviously, and then Tashigi is really good just for that 10 cost buggy, or if they're running like Gravity Blade or Red Rock or anything like that. But for sure being able to freeze his board with the carrots and then like Dofi on top of that, and against that matchup I think playing very aggressive also is the key to winning that, because like fighting for board when they're just spitting out like 3 characters a turn is useless. So swinging to their life most of the time is what won me the game. Yeah,
I like that. Swinging face, or if they do go low in hand size and you have a Hody to like take out potentially like 2 of their characters, then sometimes you can pivot to that. But if you see a clear line where you can just like be aggressive and swing face, I think that's pretty strong. Especially if you know you're going to be stunning their characters like while doing it. I know some people have tried like starve methods against Buggy. I personally haven't really tested it out that much, but I could see it sort of working if you have like a Hody or two in hand. But I kind of like being a little aggressive. Don't fight their board if you don't have like a Hody or something, right? Just like keep swinging face and stunning stuff. Just try and make it awkward for them for sure. And then yeah, Tashigi is really cute, huge. Dofi is very strong. ACOS Kid, if you have the Tashigi, very, very strong. Be careful playing ACOS Kid if you know that it's probably just going to get 10 cost buggied and removed. That's something you got to watch out for sure.
Yeah, basically just playing around the 10 cost buggy, and then I don't have Shanks in this deck,
right.
So their Crocodile Mihawk card doesn't matter for me, but being able to just freeze everything with this card, really strong.
Okay, cool. So that's all the matchups. You did go 7-2, which is an awesome run. What place did you end up getting? Sorry.
It was, I think, 43rd.
Oh, so close, man.
Yeah.
So like just basically, you know, it just came down to your tiebreakers, right? Of you not being able to bubble into at least like top 32,
yeah, pretty
right?
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone top 32, like even below top 32, I think like the top probably like 25 but above, we were all X2. It was just all tiebreakers.
Oh man, that's unfortunate, but dude, congrats on your run. 7-2 is really, really awesome. I love your list. I like the changes that you made. And you said you got the OP11, the Bonney guide from my Metafy, right?
I had used your EBO2 guide, and the OP11 one also. And yeah, they're both really good guides. Like I recommend it to everyone if you.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you haven't checked that out.
I appreciate it, and I think it's just really cool seeing people like, I don't know, and we've come on the stream when I've streamed before. We've talked, you know, like text ratios, things like that, and it's just really cool seeing people, I don't know, do well. Just knowing that I've maybe been able to help in any way is really, really awesome. And like, I don't know, talking to you after you doing so well at this regional has helped me a lot too. Like just learn kind of how the meta is shaping up, what cards are working, what cards aren't working. I really like your, like the 3/3 search split and the 8 chump blockers with the 2 killer, 2 beige is something that I definitely am taking notes on. So I appreciate that too.
No, for sure. Some of this credit has to go to you, 100%. Because we did work on this list like literally the day before the regional. I think I had gone onto your stream and asked you for your opinion and stuff. But
yeah. But no, I mean it's all you at the end of the day. You had to play 6 Purple Luffys in a regional, so that all comes down to you. So big shout out to you. But I appreciate it and thank you. I guess we'll start trying to wrap things up here. Is there any homies, any testing partners, any people you want to shout out or give a little thanks to before we wrap things up here?
Yeah, all my friends back in South Florida. My team Panda. Go Team Panda.
Nice.
My girlfriend. I love you. Yeah. But thanks to everyone who helped me practice and test and everything. They all know who they are. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, if you guys are watching, anyone who's watching, thanks. Shout out. Keep the Bonney love going. I want to see more Bonnies topping in OP11. I promise Blue Purple Luffy is not like an impossible matchup. I think Bonney's spread in OP11 is really, really good right now, actually. And if you can just practice the Blue Purple Luffy matchup enough, dodge some high rolls here and there. Like it's something you just gotta do, but hope they don't high roll too hard. But other than that, yeah, I think it's a great deck. It's awesome. I love the deck. I know a lot of people really like it. So Lewis, thank you for coming on today and talking to me about it. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right. We'll catch you guys later. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.